So how big is the derivatives market? In a word, gigantic. This visualization is incredible for understanding the money and markets in the world. Each square on this visual chart is worth $100 billion. Silver market isn't even an entire square. It's only $44 billion. Crypto numbers here are outdated, obviously, and some others might be too, because we know that right now it's at about $1 trillion. Military spending is almost $2 trillion in the world. The U.S. budget deficit is $3.8 trillion. The Fed's balance sheet is $7 trillion. Billionaires account for $8 trillion. This also is probably out of date because where's Elon? Running Dogecoin, of course. Gold accounts for about $11 trillion. And of course, we coming for that. Fortune 500 companies account for almost $20 trillion. The world's stock markets account for about $90 trillion. The total money supply in the world, including the M1 and M2 money supplies, is about $100 trillion. And here's where it gets real fun. Here come the IOUs. Before we establish this crazy world Ponzi scheme, let's add up the previous numbers. The total supply of every market we've looked at so far is roughly $237 trillion. Global debt alone is $253 trillion. The world owes actually over 3 times what it's worth according to world GDPs. And here we get back to a real market. The real estate market is still larger at $280 trillion. Obviously, most of the mega rich get there through real estate. You probably know that. Because the thing about land is they don't make more of it. But the derivatives market makes all of these look tiny. The low-end estimate of derivatives markets, which doesn't include global debt, even though that's basically in some ways derivatives in the sense it's all IOUs, is $560 trillion. More than all the wealth in the world combined, including real estate. But that's just the low end. The high-end estimate includes OTC markets. These are over-the-counter markets that are basically transfers of money and IOUs done off of public markets or behind closed doors. The estimate of this is $1 quadrillion. A quadrillion. You didn't even know there was a number after a trillion. Why? Because it's unfathomable. Here's what $1 quadrillion looks like. And that, my friends, is the world's largest Ponzi scheme. But here's the interesting thing. It's all IOUs. That much money in monopoly money. People are really starting to understand how crazy this is. But what's crazier is that almost the entire derivatives market has been closed off from normal people. The richest people in the world are who have gotten to take advantage of this insanity. But that's changing. We've all seen what's happened with Wall Street bets over the last week. They've declared war on the derivatives market. People short selling on margin have been crushed by retail investors who realized that they have the power to squeeze out these hedge funds. And we're seeing a revolution right in front of our very eyes. But the derivatives market is not going away. If you start unraveling the entire yarn ball of IOUs, it would actually destroy the world economy. It's Pandora's box that cannot be closed unless we basically have an apocalypse where world citizens have to essentially start over with no markets. So you should not be asking yourself, how do we destroy the system? You should be asking, how do regular people get access to this system? How can you benefit from this? Same way that billionaires and trillion-dollar hedge funds have done. You see, this is called decentralized finance, and it's built on top of Ethereum. There's a whole niche of projects out there, including one I'm invested in, Staffy, that are linking the ideas of derivatives into crypto. But there are other projects out there in DeFi that are bridging regular retail investors over to the insanely large derivatives market. And the underlying blockchain for this? Ethereum. Coin these staking and future contracts are collateralized in? Ethereum. You see, for Ethereum to hit $100,000, it's going to need to get to up to essentially a $20 trillion market cap. Then you realize it's only 2% of the size of the derivatives market, and it doesn't seem so unbelievable. But here's the most insane thing. This derivatives market is $1 quadrillion of IOUs, only traded between the top 1% in the world. The Ethereum blockchain will be able to automate derivatives trading via smart contracts on an open and accessible market to all, meaning the other 99% of the world will be able to throw their hats in the ring and trade this market. The sky is the limit.